Today we're talking about my top 5 neighborhoods in York County, Virginia, coming up. So this is designed to help you kind of get a lay of the land and figure out where the best spots are when you make your plans to move to York County. So this top 5 will be an assortment of different price ranges as well. So depending on whatever price range you're looking for, you'll probably have a neighborhood in here that you'll like. So first of all, I'm going to show you where York County is if you're still getting used to and acclimated to the area. And so if you see here, it's kind of like a long strip on the northern side of the peninsula of Hampton Roads. The Naval Weapons Station, the Yorktown Naval Weapons Station, is kind of the middle of Yorktown. On the north side of that is what's considered North York County, which is over here near Williamsburg. And part of Williamsburg is actually in York County, North York County. On the south side is South York County, which is including places like Tabb and Grafton, and Seaford, even on the southeastern corner. Going further south, you'll see Langley Air Force Base. This is not in York County, but it is very important because it's just south of York County, South York County, and people that are getting stationed at Langley Air Force Base often want to consider York County as an option to move if they don't want to live in Hampton or Newport News. Separate from that is Fort Eustis, the Army base just west of York County in Newport News. That is also relatively close to York County. Number 5 is going to be Woods of Tabb. Now, Woods of Tabb, I'll show you on the map where Woods of Tabb is. It's on the very eastern side of South York County. See these lakes right here? This area right here is Woods of Tabb. It's not a very big neighborhood necessarily, but it's extremely close to Langley Air Force Base, about 8, 9, 10 minutes or so to the gate of Langley. You got grocery stores very close by. You got a Farm Fresh, which is like 5, 6 minutes away, if not less. You're pretty close to a lot of stuff, essentials wise, but you're also extremely close to Langley. Now, these houses are really, really nice for the price. These houses are going to be in the $475,000 to about $600,000 price range, and the sizes are going to be like in the 23, 24 to 32 to 3,400 square feet. And so if you want a 4 or 5 bedroom house and you want to be in the Tabb High School District, this is the place to check out for the price. It's a nice bang for buck for what you get. Low HOA. You've got a playground actually in the neighborhood, and a basketball court in that section too. And some of those houses are also on ponds too, which is kind of cool. It's a small neighborhood, but the few that are on ponds are very, very hard to get. If you see one hit the market, I would jump on it. Now, the school districts I mentioned are Tabb High School, Tabb Middle School, and Tabb Elementary School. So Tabb across the board. Check out niche.com. You can see all the rankings for the high schools, middle school, and elementary school districts to give you an idea of what schools might be like here. But keep in mind that Grafton, Tabb, and York High School districts are 3 of the most in-demand school districts anywhere in Hampton Roads. You can check on niche.com. You can see the rankings for those districts. York County is ranked number 3 on niche.com anywhere in Virginia for public schools. It is one of the most sought after school districts anywhere in the state, and you'll see the price ranges be affected by this demand. Now let's go further north into an area just east of Grafton in York High School District that is number 4 on the list, which is Lakes at Dare. Now Lakes at Dare is a newer neighborhood, a little bit newer than Woods of Tabb. It's right in the central section here, close to the water near the Pocosin River. This is a little bit larger houses, like around 4 or 5 bedrooms, 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, a bit bigger, and like brick style houses and larger lots, closer to like between a half an acre and an acre. And also these houses are going to be into the $600,000 and $700,000 price range. So you're going to notice a difference as you get into over $550,000 and into like the 6 range, the low 6s. You're starting to see a larger house, larger lot size. Everything feels a bit kind of more spread out. That line, I say line of demarcation, that spot where you see that extra little oomph in your house is once you get into that 585, 600, 615 range, you're going to start seeing that difference. And that's kind of what Lakes at Dare illustrates. A lot of houses in here are between 600,000 and 700,000 mostly. And so if you get a house in here, you're getting the school district that a lot of people really want. You're also getting a lot of size in that relaxed feel. Now, the drawback for being in Lakes at Dare to me is if you're at Langley, it's going to be a further drive down to Langley. It's going to be about 20 to 22 minutes or so. But also you're closer to Fort Eustis. You're about 20 minutes or so away from Fort Eustis. But the essentials are also relatively convenient as well. So Route 17 is going to be your primary road really for a lot of these houses in the South York County area, that takes you up and down. There are some essentials like grocery stores that are closer to Route 17 and off of there. Like, for example, there's Food Line right there. But as you get off of 17 into Jefferson Avenue is your primary spot for a lot of shopping near Kiln Creek. You've got your big box stores, you got your Lowe's, you got your Home Depot, Walmart. Near Whole Foods, you've got Trader Joe's, Costco's over there. So that's where a lot of where your essentials and plus, if you say essentials plus, your needs will be met. There's your Sam's Club right there. So you're about 15 minutes or so away from this area if you go into Lakes at Dare. But this is great if you want not too far away from, like, for example, the bases, but also close enough to a lot of essentials, but also spread out houses, spread out lots, a little bit larger houses. I'd say between the $600,000 and $700,000 price range, the Lakes at Dare is a great option. Okay, now we're going to come back down a bit further south, closer to the south part of South York County, in a neighborhood that is also near some lakes called Tab Lakes. So this is a neighborhood if you want something a little bit more affordable in the fours, like low fours, $4 to $475-ish. So just under Woods of Tab, but something like 2,000, 2,200 square feet, 2,300 square feet. This neighborhood is great for that. So functional houses in the Tab High School district. So the roads, no sidewalks, very common in York County for there to be no sidewalks. So keep that in mind. But you see more drains. This is something worth noticing here. The drains on the sides of the streets, also very common for a lot of areas in Tab. Does not mean though that these require flood insurance. A lot of this area mostly does not. As you go closer to the water, it does. It's something also to keep in mind. But one thing the drawback here is you'll see the houses are going to be a little bit closer together. Lot sizes are not going to be that half an acre as much, like 0.25, 0.3. It's going to be a little bit smaller houses and smaller lots. And so you're going to be paying less for that. That's your trade-off, right? But it's still for the price, for the location, which is very close, much closer to Langley, in the school district that a lot of people are looking for in Tab. I do like this area a lot. And also it's Coventry Elementary, which is one of the higher ranked elementary schools. Again, check all this stuff on niche.com or on other school ranking publications so you can do your own research. But again, Coventry is a very in-demand school district, but I like Tab Lakes for the price, for the access also to Route 17, because at Route 17, it's literally right off the main road. Like you take Coventry Boulevard right there, and then you turn and you're on Route 17. So you're not too far away from the main road that gets you to the rest of Newport News, Hampton, the peninsula up and down. So I love this neighborhood for the accessibility as well. I don't necessarily think you'll be wowed by the houses themselves, just again, for the price range, for the size, functionality, I do think that they're great. But again, part of the reason why you might be paying $415 instead of $515 is like you're going to be trading off some things. And that's one of the things is, again, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller lots, but for the price, I'm a big fan. Now for my number 2 and number 1 neighborhoods, we're going to be going further north. I absolutely love these two neighborhoods. Number 2 is Marlbank Farm. It's actually two, Marlbank Farm and Marlbank Cove. They're kind of together, which is just northwest of Seaford. And I'll show you on the map where all this is. So Marlbank Farm, I'll drop a pin so you can see it's right off of Route 17, but just northeast, And these houses are extremely unique. But look at the lot sizes. The lot sizes are very kind of sprawled out. The house styles, the elevations are extremely different. Like, look how different a lot of these houses are. And it feels like you're kind of in the country, but you're not very far away from, again, Route 17 is right nearby. Now, these two neighborhoods are together, but they're also separate because you get two totally different kind of vibes to them. The one in Marlbank Farm is a bit older, a little bit more rustic. These are built in the 60s, and it has an optional HOA with Marlbank Cove. That one houses built more in the 80s, larger lot sizes. These are prices in the 7s, 6s and 7s mostly. You can even get some higher than that, but also larger lots, larger houses, and a mandatory HOA of about $50 a month. You get the pool, clubhouse, you got a dock access. Now with Marlbank Farm, the houses are more in the 400s and 500s price range, but you can also see them higher, especially as you get near the water and larger ones. So they can be way higher than that, but it's just a different price range compared with Marlbank Cove, which is a higher one generally speaking. School districts still, you got York High School, Yorktown Middle, York Elementary School. So it checks the boxes for top ranked schools or in-demand schools in York County too. So community here is really strong. Even community events that you get throughout the course of the year. So the community is tightly knit. And so I think this is an extra added benefit that not a lot of other neighborhoods, even in the peninsula, have this much going on in the neighborhood. You're also close to Yorktown, historic Yorktown. So if you come up on the map here, come out onto Route 17, again, close to York High School, but you're several minutes away from Yorktown Battlefield. You don't even need to take the Route 17 to get there. You can get up, hit the Yorktown Beach. I love the beach area close to the Coleman Bridge. Big fan of Yorktown. And you can take the Colonial Parkway from there up into Colonial Williamsburg. So because these houses range in style, they also range in size. It could be anywhere from the upper 2,000 square feet range into the low 4,000 square feet range. Different styles, different sizes, different size lots, different configurations. It's all unique in Marlbank Farm and Marlbank Cove. I'm a huge fan of this neighborhood. Now that leads me to my number one neighborhood that's going further north, north of Williamsburg, but it's in North York County, called Queens Lake. And you may have seen me talk about Queens Lake before. I'm a huge fan of Queens Lake. This is one of my favorite spots anywhere in the peninsula. This neighborhood that's surrounding Queens Lake itself and has different parts of it, different feels in the neighborhood. So Queens Lake also has a lot of different styles of houses. Smaller houses like around 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet, and way more. You can get houses in here in the $400,000 price range. 5, 6, and 700. Wide variety of houses, a wide variety of styles. And this is similar to Marlbank Cove and Farm in that regard because you have like the variety is there. And these are more kind of, you'll see some brick ranch. You'll see some even, kind of built up on hills because Williamsburg has a lot of hills. Now, if you also want colonial-ish style houses, you'll see some in Queens Lake as well. So you won't see a ton, but you'll see some. And I'd say if you're looking for that kind of neighborhood feel, but you want to also be maybe closer to Fort Eustis, I would keep this neighborhood in mind for that reason. Now, it also has an optional HOA. So if I drop a pin, you'll see that it has the tennis courts, swimming pool, clubhouse. It's right on the water there. Isn't it nice? But then you see the water on both sides. You'll see the clubhouse and tennis courts are nearby. And the bridge, it takes you from one side of the neighborhood to the other. So as you do the panoramic view here, you'll see it's surrounded by serene quiet and water. It is awesome. And very few people even know that this is here. And you're just a quick drive to the Colonial Parkway. So take the Colonial Parkway out of the neighborhood, take Colonial Parkway, you're like, 8 minutes away from Colonial Williamsburg, maybe 10. The school districts here, Bruton is the high school district, so it's not ranked as high, you'll see on niche.com, compared to the tab, Grafton, York, trifecta. So that might factor into your decision making as well. Now, what you might not like about Queens Lake, number one is there's so much vegetation, it can really be hard to grow grass. So a ton of leaves, ton of trees. It just, if you like that style, like that relaxed, that rustic feel, it's going to be great. You get that in spades, but you get the drawbacks are going to be, like I said, the landscaping will feel a bit more unkept in a lot of the houses. Another drawback is going to be some of these houses, because they're older, more built in the 60s, 70s, you'll see more that just need more work to be done. So not all the houses are going to be built totally pristine. If you want something that's more pristine, I would probably focus on other spots like, for example, Lakes Adair for the same price range, or even going into Tab Lakes or Woods of Tab in that 4s and 5s price range. I think I would do that more than here if you want something that it feels a little bit more move-in ready, or at least the higher chance of finding a house that's move-in ready. Now, another drawback, though, if you're being stationed at Langley Air Force Base, is this one's going to be about 40 minutes away, 35 to 40 minutes away from Langley. But also, maybe you want to be closer to Richmond or closer to DC. That extra 20, 25 minutes or 30 minutes can make a big difference. So picking North York County can be beneficial for this reason as well. So I like Queens Lake, even though the rest of the houses, I like South York County better in general for the neighborhoods options that you find in South York County. I think Queens Lake is my favorite neighborhood anywhere in North or South York County, for just the uniqueness of the neighborhood that is very hard to replicate. Maybe like Marlbank, Cove, and Farm are the closest to it. Now, quickly, a couple of runner-ups. One I want to mention that's close to Tab Lakes is Coventry, a nice HOA community that's fantastic with Coventry Elementary School. Awesome neighborhood. And also the one that you might see a lot of, I want to briefly mention, is Kiln Creek. Kiln Creek is a large HOA neighborhood that has some condo neighborhoods spots in there too, but very close to Newport News and like extremely like it's right on the edge between York County and Newport News. There will be some parts of Kiln Creek that are actually in Newport News, so check that out. But check to make sure you know which part of Kiln Creek you want to be in if you want to be in the York County side of it. So if you have any more questions about living in York County, north or south, or Williamsburg, or the entire Hampton Roads area down to Virginia Beach, let me know. This is what I do. I love helping people relocate to the area. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I've got my contact information in the description, and you can reach out at any point, and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I will see you on the next video.